Yo, what the fuck is going on? Today is December 31st. We can officially throw away all of 2024 into the can. It's a piece of shit. No, we're gonna go over penny stocks here, open market and pre-market. I'm doing this at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, so still a lot of market to go, but I gotta get the fuck out of here and advise everyone else to do the same. Starting off with APM. Before we get into this, from Monday, what we saw were a lot of tickers, very choppy in the first 30 minutes to an hour, and then later in the day, have a push. So APM, looking at overall structure right now, it's exactly what this did. It did pop here in the morning, had an open bell dip and rip off the intra 200. I really wanted this to push down a little bit further. I didn't get any, and then it just went straight up without me. So RIP for that. That would have been a good trade, but comes all the way back down, gets chopped here. It's still holding the intra 200. I tried some here, was a little bit too early. Again, I got bagged on APM, but did catch this kind of cup and handle look right here. I got some at 560s and then got this push all the way to 670 for pre-market highs. Right now, I did think we could get a hold of the previous high here at 625. Usually, or not usually, but yesterday we had 4, 5, 6 patterns that ran the same thing where they ran later in the day. They pulled back to this breakout spot and then ripped again. So not surprised to see it not do that just because it is the day before a holiday. You know, volume is probably not as strong, but would have loved to see this hold and push further, but maybe it does come back later. Maybe it's just a piece of shit, but overall APM was really good. Moving over to ASNS, this thing which is kind of fading off a cliff. Again, we have VWAP way up here. It's below the intra 200. It's fading. All signs of a bearish move, which it did. No volume there. BHAT. Another one where it's kind of fading off into open. VWAP up here below the intra 200. Sometimes stocks will do what BHAT did and push into VWAP and then fade out. So RIP for that one. We saw a bunch of tickers yesterday do the same thing. They're kind of way down below, but they do push into VWAP and then just fade out. Moving to BJDX, no volume, fade, don't care. BNAI, similar. It's also a multi-day runner. 140s were its highs, well below that. It's fading, similar to BHAT and ASNS. Didn't do anything. CRKN, Kraken. Kraken's confirmed piece of shit, just like CYN. However, this thing was over one of its highs here at 20. The volume here was okay. It did kind of break back over it. For a second, I thought maybe this thing could push back up to here, do a dip, and kind of do that midday push. But after it got rejected here and got down here, I didn't like it anymore. Currently fading. CYN's a day 2 move. It ran yesterday. Just fading off. That's the typical pattern of a day 2 move. EYEN. This one was a weird pre-market structure. It was a daily. It's in a gap fill though, so 13s to 40s basically, or 35. We have seen gap fills more prevalent in this market, but again, where it's the day before a holiday, so volume. I think things are very whippy today, and that's just because volume isn't as present. But again, we're below VWAP, below 200. Anything that's just fading this hard tends to just kind of stay down here. Best case is this kind of fails, rotates into the intra 200, and then dies again. So nothing there. FIFI is a day 2 move. We're not going to go over it. It just kind of faded off, hit VWAP and faded. FLYE was a late pusher. I did like that it was over the 200. The problem was it did come from under $1, so this thing had the potential of halting a lot, but it did not. So we get this pop here. It's kind of grinding upwards. It does halt here. To me, this is a little bit tougher price action. Does come all the way back down. We do have kind of like this double bottom flag right here. So boom, boom, off of 117. So that was kind of nice. We do have a mini cup and handle here. off of these highs right here. So same thing as APM. So dip to 136, push all the way to 166, and then halts down and is fading right now. This thing could come back, but I highly doubt it off of a holiday day. But nice flag there, nice cup and handle. We've seen this multiple times this week so far. HAO is a fader stock. Again, just no volume there. Hollow, oof. Hollow's going, it might get to zero by the time market bell closes. Holy shit. Hollow, day 2 move. It ran yesterday. Highs were at $7.86, basically $8. Great push here. Good first dip into VWAP, and actually, I missed this dip. Again, I am terrible. For some reason, these get lost in the sauce. I think it's just because they move slower. This dip right here is fucking money in the grave, and this dip right here is also money in the grave. Basically, a double bottom flag over VWAP, over yesterday's highs. Pretty good opportunity for it to continue upwards. We do have this kind of uptrend here. I thought maybe a bull flag. I didn't take any here, but was kind of wanted to just for this break into 10s possibly. But usually this bull flag type move are on tickers that run later in the day. I don't think this is as late. I don't know why, but for some reason this pattern's very strong like after 12 o'clock Eastern time. But this thing, holy shit, just faded off a cliff. Watch out. INTZ, another day 2 or day 3 move at this point. The U-shaped pattern runs into VWAP and then gets destroyed. ITP, so ITP I really thought could be NXU from yesterday. If we look at NXU was pushing before open here. It was basically got to $1, kind of just did this pattern, held VWAP, and then it was a late day push, had this double bottom flag over the highs, and then just rocketed. So for me, when I'm looking at ITP, it's very similar setup, right? We're pushing into open, we're pushing, but we're also kind of in a 5-minute, 10-minute flag here. It does consolidate below, it holds the intra 200 here a couple times. Once I saw this, I thought maybe game time, but it double tops and dies off. So to me, this is pretty much done. Really thought that this could pull an NXU and maybe get to like pre-market highs at least, but again, I think it's probably due to the holiday. Moving over to LPSN. This one was a grinder stock. The volume was super light. It does do the intra 200 VWAP open bell dip and rip, although the rip really wasn't that impressive, but still good gains there. And then typically things that rip tend to die off, which this did. Sometimes you'll get another rotation, but this thing just kind of faded to death. MLGO. This thing ran like, I think it got news 9:15, so 15 minutes before. It was holding VWAP here. This is kind of more of a risky play in my opinion. Does halt down and then just never recovers. I thought maybe it could rotate here. There's a gap fill level, but obviously this is dead too. Mullen, MULN. This thing just started fading off early below the intra 200, below VWAP. Tends to fail, which it does, and no volume. NXU's day 2, it does have a mini U pattern into the yearly highs at 220s, and then also yesterday's highs at 213, and then dies off. ONCO. Alright. So, this one, let's see. So, ONCO comes from under $1, so we know it's going to be a halt stock. It does fade into VWAP and into the intra 200 and then push, which is super nice. I did add some under $1 here on this hold and got a nice bag out of this one. Hits pre-market highs, does a little dip, and then pushes again. We have a nice kind of hold over pre-market highs. I didn't expect this to continue moving after this hold right here. Typically, these will push to pre-market high, maybe a little bit above, and then fade off, and then come all the way back down. This thing did not. It ends up pushing further. We kind of have a cup and handle right here off of this and this. Another push to 210s. It does come all the way back down, and another pattern we see is extended dips into VWAP, the first push into VWAP. So this would have been a nice add here at 150s, all the way up to 196. It's currently halted right now, but this would have been a good move. I actually was gonna take it, but I think I was looking at 8 p.m. at the time. So overall, nice push, 153. So yeah, that's 40 cents. It's pretty nice. 50 cents. We'll take that any day. At this point, I don't see this going further. But again, sometimes on holiday, the day before a holiday, things can get weird. When people leave and things start to squeeze. So this thing could go to 0 or it could go to 10. Who knows? Hashtag not financial advice. OPTT. This one is also a multi-day runner. We have the classic up-down fade pattern. Nothing really to go over there. Rime's also a multi-day runner. The volume was ass out of the gate, so not looking at that there. SMX ran yesterday, another multi-day, just fading. This is a typical day 2 setup. SVMH, woo-wee. I didn't trade. This is a nice dip into the inch of 200, a nice kind of grind upwards. Nice push here. I hate trading stocks under 10 cents. You can get easily bagged. The spread is just, I've had a bad time trading sub 10 cents, but overall this looks pretty nice. Like there's no crazy wicks anywhere, but more of a volcano type move in my opinion. VRME was also a decent looking play. It was fading. My only issue was it was below the inch 200 in VWAP. I didn't take any of this. Usually stuff like this hits VWAP and then fades. Sometimes like PIK a couple weeks ago did this move where it pushes into VWAP, it holds and then pushes out. But again, I didn't really expect much from it. There is a key level here at 230. And it doesn't get the pre-market high, which kind of blows. I did add some there, but we just never got a rotation back to 250s. I thought worst case 250s, maybe a cup and handle, and then push into pre-market highs. It looked decent. It was kind of a double bottom flag over kind of its previous pivot, but again, I think today just the volume on some of these plays just kind of died out. So a little bit unfortunate there. Moving over to WATT, W-A-T-T. This is a day 2 move. Again, another up-down fade pattern. We saw that on, SMX, I think? Or whatever. They're very common for day 2 moves. But that is going to be it. It is the New Year, so Happy New Year's. Hopefully this price action continues. I think the last couple weeks have been really nice. I think the overall market has been, there's been a ton of tickers, but I think there's been so many opportunities that it's been really good. It hasn't been straight up, straight down. There's been good pattern setups. But days like today got a little choppy. Yesterday was a little choppy in the morning, so I'm assuming the same thing for Thursday and Friday, where we get some chop and probably finish or start the year off that way and maybe pick back up the following week. But you never know. That's the beauty of the stock market. Peace.